Alright, let's prepare our needles and thread. The first thing that we're going to do is grab one end of our thread and one of our needles, and I'll pierce the eye of that needle. Pull that through, and about 1.5 inches from the end of the thread, I'll hold on to it, and I'm going to use this needle to pierce the middle of this thread where I'm holding on to it. So I'm holding that thread in between my fingers, and I'm using my fingers as a guide for the needle to hit the middle of that thread. And we want to hit the middle of that thread as close as we can, so you can try again if you feel like it hasn't hit the middle. So I'm using my fingers as a guide until we get something like this. And with the remaining thread, I'm going to grab around halfway, and I'm going to pierce the thread one more time until we get something like this. So we've pierced our thread twice with the same needle, and I'll grab the short end that's remaining and I'll pull that down through the needle, holding the needle in my other hand, and I'll just keep on pulling. I'll keep pulling until I can't pull any further, and then I'll grab on to the longer end of our thread and I'll pull that in order to reduce slack. There we go. That's one end of our thread complete. Now we're going to do the same exact thing for our other end. So I'll grab the other end of our thread, and I'll grab our other needle and do the same thing. I'll pierce the eye of the needle, pull that through about 1.5 inches from the end of the thread. I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to use this needle to pierce the middle of the thread where I'm holding on to it. Just like that. Grabbing halfway of the remaining end of the thread, I'm going to pierce it one more time. I'll bring it on top and through the middle of that thread until we get something like this. And I'll grab the short end of the remaining thread and I'll pull that down and through the needle. I'll hold the needle in my other hand and I'll just keep on tugging until I can't tug anymore. And then I'll grab on to the longer end of our thread and then I'll pull that in order to reduce slack. Alright, there we go. Now we're ready to start stitching.